I've learned to read more early on in this universe. I love Joe Abercrombie so much. Of millions, I often ask myself for my identity. I strive to seek it. In a way, I'm always trying to separate myself from the others, to rise from the masses and become something of my own. So join me on my journey as I intend to reach across the stars and to find myself, to go through pages and pages of other people's journeys to find my passions and to find myself. But who am I, you may ask? I am the Wordman. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel as I have read A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. So, I haven't made a video, but I read the original trilogy about a year ago. Two years ago? A year ago, yeah. Nope, yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, but I forgot. But I read it and I absolutely loved it. Joe Abercrombie became one of my top three authors of all time. But I took a break because I realized that I didn't want to just be in one universe all the time. And then I figured, and then I read the short story collection from the universe about like 3 or 4 months back. And so I decided to get back into it. And so I finished A Little Hatred. And I have to say I loved every bit of this book. I don't I think he's done it again, and that's because it's a sequel to the original trilogy, but it's not tethered to the original trilogy, where we see what happens to the characters that we left and how old they have become. But the focus is not on them. It's kind of like this new generation, new characters that have come, and we're really looking at them really just for who they are and like what they want to do. And we see new problems, new, and it's the same thing. And so let's talk about it. So basically, what is A Little Hatred about? So it's basically about that during this time they are fighting, multiple things are going on. So basically, in the Union, the Union is still there, but basically you have a set of characters like King Giselle. Oh, by the way, there are a little. If you haven't read the original trilogy, there are spoilers, but like you have to because it's kind of like a sequel. But King Giselle's son Orso is kind of like a useless prince who doesn't do anything, and is kind of just basically useless. And there's this breakers, or like this, the technology is moving faster, so now a lot of people are going up against the king because they want rights and all this and everything. That's happening while at the same time there's Savina and Glokta, who is basically the daughter of Glokta, and obviously, but she is also a businesswoman and she does her own things. There's Riki, she's the daughter of the dogman, and that basically she has this thing called the eye where she can see kind of the future and what's going to happen. And she's also kind of stuck in the north and she's trying to find her own things. There's Leo Dan Brock, who is a soldier, and since they're aligned with the Union, they're still working together, but there's like two sides to the north, and he's trying to fight as a soldier. And so you have all these characters and these seeds and everything. And basically this is not like the original trilogy, because in the original trilogy, in the first book, the Blade itself, there's a lot of plot wise, a lot of really not much happened. There's a lot more about thinking, there's a lot more about setting up and all these things. And that wasn't bad, that was a phenomenal book, but this is completely different. There's a lot more happening and you understand more. So I think we should talk about a little about the characters. I'm not gonna spoil. Leo Denbrock is basically like the soldier. You know, he wants to be famous for being a warrior. He wants to be the guy that everybody just looks and is fearing. He wants to be like Logan Nine Fingers, but the thing is, he's really a lot more. He's very hot headed and he's very angry, but he isn't necessarily that level of skill or that level of talent. I would say that you would you would say that, oh, he deserves to be whatever the hell he wants to do. But he's great. Riki is basically, she's sarcastic, she's a normal one, but at the same time she's kind of unsure of herself. One person tells her to be like heart of stone, be like no emotions. The other tells her to be open, leave all these things behind, be a normal person. And she's kind of conflicted here, and plus on top of that, her powers really make her go wonky and she doesn't know what to do. And she's basically just in this state of zone where things are happening, and she has her own beliefs, and she's very strong-headed and everything, and she's just incredible character. And Savinda and Glokta is basically what I would say would have the biggest change in the story. I'm not gonna say what happens, but she's basically kind of like her dad. She's very cunning. She's very smart and very headstrong. The thing is that she's also has a softer side to her than Glokta. Glokta, like the original Glokta, doesn't really have that big of this soft side to him. She has a lot more soft side, this immature kind of side to her, and she is basically a very ruthless businesswoman doing to do whatever the hell she wants for whatever she seeks. And then we have Orso. Orso is basically that useless prince who just has sex all day and he doesn't know what else to do. And we see that over the course of the book, he also changes, but at the same time, nobody really believes in him. Like he can do something. And he wants to try and he wants to do, and you see his struggle. And that's one of the greatest things about this book, where the characters are so good that over the course of the book, a lot of them change and shift and form and have doubts about themselves. They learn new things about themselves. They learn new things about the world they live in. That they change and they shift and they become better versions of themselves, but at the same time are really unable to let go of the things that haunt them and everything. Another great thing is that you can read this by itself and you wouldn't really need to read the original trilogy. Like, it's better off because a lot of things that happen at the end of that trilogy really factor in here. But even if you don't, the original characters, you kind of see what happens to them, but they're no longer the focus of this trilogy, and you kind of see them from a different perspective, and that makes it good. Another great thing is the world building, like, because even though this is the same world, a lot of things have changed in that time, because technically there's been like 20-30 years have passed, so you see a lot of technological advancements have happened. Magic, which really also was dying in the first one, is no longer, is barely there, and mainly it's technology. And there's a lot of things that, like, for example, I mean, actually no, I can't say that, but some one character that is a very, very major influence in the first book returns, but you see him in a different light because you've read the original trilogy, so you realize something different, and there's always something on the edge happening that you don't expect for it to happen, and that's what makes it unpredictable. That by the end of the book, you're like, oh my god, this happened, this happened, this happened, what's going to happen now? And it's very fresh and it's very new. Another great thing is the dialogue. Joe Abercrombie is a genius at writing sarcastic or funny, dark funny, where disturbing things are happening, but yet he'll make you laugh, he'll make you engage, and make you understand the character from small bits of dialogue. And that's really what makes him incredible. And another great thing is the politics. There's politics behind the scenes going on, all these things going on. You see the high society and how they act, and he does a great job of making a difference with what they feel and the normal people, like breakers, and what they feel. And it's very harsh. It's very brutal. It's very cruel. They curse a lot, and I'm fine with that. I, in fact, love it. But doesn't mean you're gonna love it. And I just loved it. And I think it's a phenomenal book, and I'm excited to get into the second one. And yeah, that's my video. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.